Alright, hello guys. In this video we're going to be talking about Major Winter Storm Jacob once again, and now Major Blizzard Jacob, as we have some blizzard warnings up for the Midwest that I want to talk about in a second. But before we get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they do live in the impacted regions. Let's get right into things. So right now we're taking a look at our current watches, warnings, and advisories, and I always take a look at this because it's very telling. We have a lot of winter weather advisories out for the Midwest, central United States, and then into the Great Lakes, even some of the mid-Atlantic states there, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and then even up through Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and through New York City, I believe, into portions of New York, Connecticut. And then we have winter storm watches up for New England, upstate New York, and then another winter weather advisory up there for Maine. They're scattered all over the place. Also, take notice we have those pink areas there in the Midwest and Great Lakes. That's going to be our winter storm warnings, which is the most imminent and impactful threats for winter weather. And then we also have a blizzard warning up there for portions of the Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and they're in Iowa and a little bit in Nebraska. Now, this is one of those blizzard warnings where a lot of people get confused. This does not indicate the amount of snow you're going to get. It's about the visibility and just the overall conditions. So it's going to be a lot of blowing snow that's already on the ground, and the snow could be falling heavily, but this does not mean you're going to be getting a foot of snow, or it doesn't even have anything to do with the amount of snow that's going to fall on the ground whatsoever. So I just wanted to clear that up there. No blizzard warning ever indicates that. So we're about to start talking about your storm track map, which is also going to be very telling and let you know the conditions you can expect during this storm. Alright, so first off, we're talking about your minor winter storm possible region, and this is going to be for the Dakotas, Nebraska, portions of the Midwest and upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes, and then through the Mid-Atlantic and New England areas. This is where we're expecting at least a dusting to an inch, maybe two in this region. And then let's add our major winter storm region, and this is where we're expecting probably to receive at least 6 to 10 inches, and within this also some areas where we're expecting to get 10 inches plus. So my threshold, a lot of people have been questioning what my threshold for major winter storm is, because they're like, you always call it a major winter storm. If anywhere in the storm, a significant area within the storm is expected to get 10 inches, 10 to 15 inches, I consider that a major winter storm. As you're approaching 1 foot of snow, and that's obviously going to really impact travel, that's what I would consider a major winter storm, and that's always been my threshold. Alright, just wanted to clear that up because I've been getting a lot of comments about that. So that's our major winter storm area. Now, we do have this other blue area that I wanted to add, and I don't have an extra written section for this, but this is where I expect lake effect snow to be ongoing during the storm, so that's what we call lake effect enhanced snow, and then also lake effect snow afterwards, and that's going to lead to all 4 of these different deep blue regions to be receiving a lot more snow than the surrounding areas. This is particularly where I'm expecting 10 inches plus within those areas. And then last but not least, we have our blizzard region, which is where we're expecting blizzard conditions within this purple region: North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and then in through portions of western Minnesota. We're expecting blizzard conditions to be pretty common throughout this area during this storm. Alright, now we're about to start talking about your Futurecast radar, which is going to be really interesting to take a look at. We're going to be able to tell what hours you could be expecting your heaviest snow to be falling. Very, very useful tools here. Alright, so we're going to be using our RGEM model again. And that's my all-time favorite model here. And this is going to be right about now. Today is Friday the 17th. A lot of people watch these videos the day after and stuff, so they get confused when I say today or tomorrow. But today is Friday the 17th, and this is going to be this morning. So we're already starting to see snow for portions of Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska there. And that's going to be moving generally north and east, spreading across the region. So let's move on an hour, and it's going to be more towards later this late afternoon, I would say, and we see North Dakota, a little bit of North Dakota and northern Minnesota there, but a bit of South Dakota, southern Minnesota, and Iowa just completely taken over by moderate snowfall there. So it's really stretching out, and we see those darker blues. That's where we're expecting actually some heavier snow to be quite common within these areas, quickly accumulating for sure. Now let's move a little bit more towards this evening. I'd say this is about dinner time, and we start to see that banding growing. We see precipitation filling in there for North Dakota and Minnesota, and we're expecting this to happen later. And this is going to be when we're starting to see some blizzard conditions up there because of the wind, which I'm going to show in a second as well. But moderate snow stretching now across South Dakota through Minnesota, Wisconsin, portions of Illinois, and then Iowa as well. And we're about to move on to where it's really going to spread out, and we're going to be able to see those blizzard conditions for a lot of the upper Midwest, and we're going to see that moderate snow stretch out to where Detroit, Chicago, and a lot of other big cities are going to start getting really involved with this major snowstorm here. And this is going to be by about 1 a.m. tomorrow, so Saturday, 1 a.m., January 18th, and we can see the snow is really spread out by this point. We see snowfall going on for North Dakota, South Dakota, portions of Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, southern Michigan, especially getting that moderate snow just above where it's mixing in. Now, this is going to be an interesting area. We are expecting things to warm up in some of the middle layers and even the lower layers, which is really going to lead to sleet, rain, a lot of mixing issues there for northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and then southern Michigan. And this is going to be kind of a wild card area just because of the fact that we could see this one go either way. If we stay snow longer, we're going to get much more accumulation, but if it mixes in earlier and longer, then we're going to start to see some of that snow that's already accumulated start to melt from the rain on top of it. And, you know, everybody that gets a lot of snow has had situations like this, so you know what I'm talking about. And let's take a look at that wind quickly. We see North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and that wind is moving from west to east, and it's going to start moving in, and that's where we're going to start to see some, like, land blizzard type conditions where we're going to see the snow not really falling from the sky, but just the snow that's already on the ground being pushed around and really creating whiteout conditions. And it was windy before this point as well, but I wanted to show how much wind we're expecting. This is in knots, and in the green we're expecting 20 to 28 knot winds. In those yellows we're expecting 28 to 30 knot winds. And then in the orange colors, which we're seeing a bit of in some regions, we're expecting maybe even upwards of 40 knot winds. So very, very windy conditions going to lead to blizzard conditions. That's why we have the blizzard warnings. Let's continue with your simulated radar here. We're starting to see that rain line move further north, maybe even Chicago mixing in at this point. We see that heavy snow there for southern Michigan and even moderate snow there for Wisconsin and Iowa still. But the rain is heading north. That's going to be by Saturday morning, maybe 8 or 9 a.m. And let's stretch out the view here and take a look. This is going to be by about 1 p.m. on Saturday tomorrow. Tomorrow from today, obviously, Saturday, January 18th. And we see rain there for Chicago, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and then southern Michigan. So again, that mixing line is going to head north, further north. And we see this starting out as snow for Pennsylvania, Ohio, and portions in New York, but eventually that's going to become rain too as we move forward. So let's move forward towards that evening, and you can see it's really filling in for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, and then all of New England and upstate New York. Let's move on. This can be by about 9 p.m. and we see southern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, even central New Jersey there in Long Island. You're rain by this point. So we see that doing the same thing as it did out west, where it's moving north with the mixing line as the storm goes on. So you start out as snow and then start to rain. And again, that's really going to determine how much snowfall you see with this one. Let's move on another frame, and it's starting to light up by this point. This is by about 3 a.m. on Sunday, January 19th. And again, it's lightening up by this point. More snow showers than anything. Notice the lake effect snow going on for Michigan and Wisconsin, by the way. And maybe even Boston mixing in with rain by this point. Then by the time we're at morning time, it's pretty much just showers at this point. And it's basically said and done. Now we're about to get into our modeled snowfall forecast and then our official snowfall map, which is going to be our final snowfall map for this storm. So that's going to be very exciting to take a look at and see how much snowfall you're expecting to receive from Winter Storm Jacob. All right, so here's your RGEM's total snowfall here. In our blue areas, that's where we're expecting a dusting to 3 inches of snow as it gets more towards that light gray color. In our purple, that's where we're expecting 3 to 6 inches of snow. Within the pink, we're expecting 6 to 12 inches of snow. And then we have a little bit of green there for portions of the upper peninsula of Michigan, and that's where we're expecting 12 inches plus. But as that pink lightens up, that's where we're a lot closer to 10 to 12 inches of snow. We see some of that for southern Michigan, and also some of those upstate regions in New York there. Let's take a look at your GFS model too, and it's actually quite similar. We do see some pink areas there for Pennsylvania, which is interesting, but as far as the very northern regions, it's a very, very similar look here on the GFS, which makes me feel very confident in these two models. Now here's my official snowfall forecast. We're starting out with our dusting to 3-inch region, which extends all the way over all of these white regions, so the upper Midwest through some of the central United States, some of the Great Lakes regions, through the Mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States. Let's take a look at our 3 to 6 inch region now, which is going to be for some of our blizzard areas. Again, you're not expecting too much snow to accumulate. It's really just the wind coupled with the heavy snow that's going to be pretty brief. That's going to lead to those blizzard conditions. We see Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, Syracuse, Albany, New York City, Boston, all of these big cities involved with this region. Then we see our 6 to 10 inch region, Minneapolis, Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo, Albany, and then maybe Boston right around that 6-inch mark. But I think you'll be a lot closer to 3 inches than 6 inches probably. And then we even have a 10 to 15 inch region, which again, this is going to be mostly due to that lake enhancement and then lake effect snow falling during and afterwards with this storm. So a general 10 to 15 inches with this almost blackish blue color there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family if they live in the impacted regions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.